No, no, not really. Really, God.
Já continue. My heart can't handle it.
Good evening. Could I ask you all please stand for the pledge? Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's town board meeting. We have a couple of our police department issues this evening. We like to move ahead on the agenda if you don't mind. That way our officers don't have to sit around here. They go celebrate downstairs with their fellow officers. So we're going to move on to number 7 under Mr. Saliano's agenda. And that is, the first item is authorization to promote 2 police officers, Walter O'Keefe and Dan Franco, to the rank of detective 2nd grade, effective May 29th, salary as per collective bargaining agreement. So, Mr. Saliano, if you want to move on that.
I'd like to make a motion for approval to authorization to hire, to promote 2 police officers, Walter O'Keefe and Dan Franco, to the rank of detective 2nd grade, effective May 29, 2019, per our collective bargaining agreement. Chief, you want to take the floor?
Mr. Supervisor, Honorable Town Board, thank you for the opportunity. I got 2 great officers here tonight, and if I can just expound on their careers a little bit, if you just indulge me. Police Officer Walter O'Keefe was hired by the Mount Pleasant Police Department in 1996. He's been assigned to the Patrol Division until recently when he was placed in the Youth Division. Police Officer O'Keefe graduated Westchester Community College and then attended Mercy College for criminal justice. He additionally has been a member of the Marine Unit and Dive Team for years. He's a member of the Commercial Vehicle Inspection Unit. Walter has talents as a great listener and a talented interviewer. Matter of fact, in 2016, I sent him to hostage negotiation training, which he successfully completed. Over his career, Walter's had numerous commendations with a common theme throughout, and they all reiterate that he's professional, courteous, considerate, and conscientious. So, Walt, would you mind stepping up here next to me? The second officer is Dan Franco. Dan attended the Mount Pleasant schools, also attended Westchester Community College. He's been a Mount Pleasant officer since 2008. Dan was also assigned to the Patrol Division up until a few months ago when he was placed in the Detective Division. Officer Franco additionally serves as a police motorcycle officer for the department. Dan's also a conscientious worker and a strong enforcer of the vehicle and traffic laws. So for you citizens out there, you might get a little bit of a break. So Dan is a certified DARE officer. He's worked in the schools to assist the youth division. He's been a soccer coach locally, and he's proven himself in his assignment in the detective division. Dan, you want to come up? So I'd respectfully request or recommend the promotion of these 2 gentlemen to detective 2nd grade.
Mr. Saliano?
I'd like to make a motion of approval to promote these 2 gentlemen to the rank of detective 2nd grade, effective May 29, 2019, per our collective bargaining agreement.
Motion by Mr. Saliano,
I'd like to second that motion wholeheartedly. Thank you.
second by Ms. Smalley. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Well done.
They thought they had it easy before, now that it's going to.
In our never-ending quest to keep the complement of our police department up as best we can through retirements and everything else, I know our chief has worked very hard to find the best of the best, and you have. So at this time, Tom,
Yes, now, at this point, we're going to hire some officers, and welcome to our family. This is authorization to hire Andrew Mancusi, Kirk A. Baker II, and Kiana Oliva as police officers effective May 29, 2019. The salary is per the collective bargaining agreement, and I give Chief the honors.
I'm gonna have three come up here. Great. So honorable board, in an effort to fill vacant positions, like the supervisor said, through some retirements, the Westchester County resident civil service list was canvassed for police officer. Interviews were conducted by the command staff along with background investigations and screening exams. 3 candidates were selected to fill these vacant positions. Kirk Baker of Valhalla attended the Valhalla schools. After graduating, he attended Westchester Community College, where he received an associate's degree. Kirk was hired by NYPD in January of 2009 and started his career in patrol. He's currently assigned to the Emergency Services Unit, where he has received extensive training. In addition, Kirk has been a volunteer firefighter since 2004, and he's going to be a great asset to the department. Mr. Andrew Mancusi, a lifelong resident of Hawthorne. Andrew attended the Mount Pleasant schools and is a graduate of Westlake High School. Andrew went on to attend Mercy College, where he earned a bachelor's degree. Andrew started with the NYPD in January 2014 and received some special training along the way to include intelligence debriefing, auto crimes, and street narcotic enforcement. Andrew will bring the skills and give back to the community where he grew up. Ms. Kiana Oliva of Valhalla also attended Valhalla schools. She graduated from Valhalla High School. She attended Westchester Community College in Valhalla and worked as a personal trainer and coach before starting her career with the City of Stamford PD in 2014. Kiana was assigned to the Patrol Division and has additionally assisted the Youth Bureau with casework. She's involved in peer counseling and is crisis intervention trained. In addition, she may have been responsible for me going prematurely gray. I recuse myself from the interview process and background in this candidate's consideration. I respectfully request these 3 candidates be hired full-time probationary police officers at a starting salary prescribed by the contract.
thank you, Chief. Mr. Saliano?
Honorable Board, I'd like to make a motion to hire Andrew Mancusi, Kirk A. Baker II, Kiana Oliva as police officers effective May 29, 2019, per our collective bargaining agreement.
Motion by Mr. Saliano,
I second, and good luck.
second by Ms. Haggerty. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations.
From you, I get a hug. Congratulations. Congratulations. Oh, it's good to have you. Andrew. I'm so excited for you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
You've got to get sworn in.
At this time, our town clerk will be swearing them in.
Stop or not. So they can take pictures of you. Okay, raise your right hand. I state your name. Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of
police officers
police officer
of the town of Mount Pleasant,
Town of Mount Pleasant,
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
The family members who would like to take pictures with their newly appointed officers, they're welcome to do so.
We could, Mr. Supervisor, we could do that downstairs because I know you have other business to get to. And I know if anyone wants to stay for the rest of the meeting, they're very interested. Because I've had to stay for quite a few, and so you're welcome to do that. But otherwise, I would retire us downstairs so that we don't make
Thank
too
you.
much noise. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Mr. Calm, cool, and collected. I'm the one who gets all bent out of shape. You work great. This is the best. We can do stuff like this. We gotta get our forks up to 50. We're getting there. We're getting there.
That's good to see. What a turnout, huh? The priest is here.
Yeah, I know Father Fraser, right? Is that Father Fraser?
Yeah. No, that's it.
No, Father Fraser was the old one. Who's this guy? I don't go to that church. I don't know. I just say Father.
Yes, because that's the first one.
Right.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Just let me know when you're ready, I'll turn on.
Did you go to the parade?
I was all set to.
Oh, I didn't think of that. I love the Pledge of Allegiance because so many people were here. I love the Pledge of Allegiance because so many people were here.
So we're good.
I've known these Pleasant, I've known these 3 to 5, 6 years students. They're very good. My son's Boy Scout there, so, so the boys are.
It's nice to just remember. I feel like generations has to be
The town used to march on the road and then kick it. So fix that.
It's good to see.
We're almost there.
I have to know. It's like paint.
Thank you. First item on our agenda tonight is public hearings. I'll ask our town clerk to read the first notice.
Notice of public hearing by the Town Board of the Town of Mount Pleasant to declare the Town of Mount Pleasant a Medal of Honor town. Please take notice that at a public hearing will be held at the Town Board of the Town of Mount Pleasant, Town Hall, 1 Town Hall Plaza, Valhalla, New York, 10595, on the 28th day of May 2019 at 8:00 p.m. for the purposes of consideration of the adoption of a resolution declaring the Town of Mount Pleasant a Medal of Honor town. Please take further notice The proposed resolution is available for review in the town clerk's office. Please take further notice that at the public hearing, upon said proposed resolution, an opportunity to be heard in regards thereto will then and there be given to those favoring passage of such proposed local law and also those opposed to. Susan Marmol, Town Clerk.
Thank you. Public hearing is open on this, and I would ask, we have members of our Hawthorne American Legion Post that may want to comment on this. They were the ones that have established the Medal of Honor at the town hall and also the monument outside, which we're very proud to be one of the only two places, I think, in the country that honor the Medal of Honor. So I appreciate all of you being here. And if, Peter, if the commander, if you have anything that you want to say in regards to this, or?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor, board members. We're very proud and happy. We came 2007, when we came to Mount Pleasant, with the Medal of Honor people, and Paul Bucher, who was one of the Medal of Honor recipients, and our Congresswoman Nita Lowey, and Joe Galatomy, and us formed a committee. From that day forward, we've been going with the Medal of Honor Society, which is housed in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. So it just happened to be that way. But now that we have our monuments, we're the only town in, I would say, the East Coast to have all four medals between the Navy, Marines, Army, and Air Force. We're very proud of that, plus our monument. And we were proud that the supervisor says we should name the town. We do have our Medal of Honor parades every year. In fact, this year, it'll be in Hawthorne. Last year, we had it in Putnam County, and now they're asking us in different counties now if we can do it in theirs. But everything will be coming out of Mount Pleasant. We're not making any other towns. We'll be the only town that'll be Medal of Honor. And I want to thank the board for that support and invite the people. I just want to mention, too, that Gate of Heaven, too, so with them, they're the ones that put two of our monuments of two Medal of Honor recipients. They built a park lot, put the monuments there, and of course, Kensico. So we have four Medal of Honor recipients that are buried in Mount Pleasant, and we're not honored that to have them here, but they're here. But we want to thank you again. If you ever need any service from our veteran groups, we'll be here to glad to take care of it. Thank you, Carl.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone else wish to be heard on this establishment? Good. I think we all agree that this is a wonderful thing to happen in the town of Mount Pleasant. And I think this board is proud to be part of making Mount Pleasant a Medal of Honor town. We take no credit for being Medal of Honor recipients or anything like that, but we want to show respect and honor for those who have given the ultimate sacrifice. So with that, I would ask a motion to close this public hearing.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo,
Second.
second by Ms. Smalley. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 3/1819 will establish the town of Mount Pleasant as a Medal of Honor town.
I move for approval for that, and just like to say thank you, Mr. Fumafredo, and to you gentlemen from the Hawthorne Post. You guys are always looking out for veterans and for honoring and remembering the very important fabric of our society. So thank you very much for doing that and for putting us on the map in a very nice way.
I'd like to second that and to thank you again for the wonderful ceremony that we had on Sunday. It was very well done, but mostly it was very touching. I think at this time in our history, it's more and more important to remember those that have served. And I appreciate all of you. Thank you.
I just want to say something too. I just want to say thank you. My dad was a veteran, as you know. He was in Korean War, and for you to keep the memory of lives alive to people that sacrificed for us so we can have freedom, it's just so special. And you guys have stepped up to the plate. You've done a fabulous job. The ceremony the other day was so touching to me. It really was. It's so meaningful. So you touched my life, and I really am very appreciative of your hard work. So thank you.
I'd like to say that my father is also a veteran of the Korean War. He's 92 this year, and he is very proud of that, and so is his family, and so I'm all very proud of all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. We had a motion by Mr. DePaul, a second by Ms. Smalley. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you.
You want to stay for the rest of the interesting agenda?
It's
You're welcome to
fascinating.
do
It's
that.
fascinating.
Thank you. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks again. Thank you.
Our second public hearing, I would ask our town clerk to read the notice.
Notice of public hearing by the Town Board of the Town of Mount Pleasant to add Chapter 43, Town Superintendent of Highways, with the position being an appointed position as opposed to an elected position, subject to a mandatory referendum. Please take notice that a public hearing will be held before the Town Board of the Town of Mount Pleasant, Town Hall, 1 Town Hall Plaza, Valhalla, New York, 10595, on the 28th day of May 2019 at 8:00 p.m. for the purposes of consideration of the adoption of a local law number 7, 2019, adding Chapter 43 to the Town of Mount Pleasant Code to change the office of Highway Superintendent from an elected office to an appointed office subject to a mandatory referendum. Please take further notice that the proposed local law number 7, 2019 is available for review in the town clerk's office. Please take further notice that at the public hearing, upon said proposed local law number 7, 2019, an opportunity to be heard in regards thereto will then and there be given to those favoring passages of such proposed local law and also those opposed thereto. Susan Marmol, Town Clerk.
Thank you. After the town board reviews this, and if it's approved, this will be on the November ballot for the voters to approve. Darius, do you have anything you want to add to this?
No, I think the notice is pretty elaborate of what is being considered.
Okay,
Any questions I can answer them on the way.
thank you. A public hearing is now open. Anybody who wishes to comment on this local law is welcome to do so. I know nobody's in favor of ever getting rid of elected office.
That's a joke, folks.
Yes, we got that.
Yes.
Laura Senti, Valhalla. I just have a couple of questions. The current highway superintendent's position, is that a 4-year position or a 2-year position?
2-year.
It's a 2-year position. What are I'm assuming the board has done an analysis of what the positives and the negatives are as far as making this a appointed position rather than elected. Is that something that you could share with us? I mean, because you're taking a position away from one that the voters can elect. And what bothers me somewhat is that, according to law, it would be, if it passes in November, it's effective 2020, which is next year. So whoever runs this November, if the referendum passes, is really null and void as, having run, unless you, the board, decide to appoint that person. So I'm concerned why this wasn't done like last year during the election period, so that then there would be some time. I don't know if there's a law that requires it, but it seems a little bit unfair that somebody runs for an elected position and then the board overrides that come January if the referendum passes.
The decision came about because the superintendent of highways retired. That was our initiative to move forward on thinking about this. We have to act within a certain period of time prior to the November election. And it is something that is going on throughout the county, if not the state, where the elimination of the elected position of superintendent of highways is fairly common.
And who will the appointed position report to? You as the supervisor
The town board,
and the town board? And I had heard that there's something about making somebody a head of Department of Public Works. Is that considered, and is that something that this board is considering? Is that another position?
we've had the conversation, if there is a way to possibly consolidate certain departments, make them more effective, more responsive, and in the long run, possibly save money, taxpayer money. That's the direction we may end up going.
Okay, have we done any cost analysis of that at this point, or doing away with the position, and as far as making an appointed position versus an elected?
There's been
position?
some preliminary studies on cost savings and accountability.
Okay, and is there a requirement, number of hours somebody has to work in this position as elected position versus an appointed one?
As an elected person, that pretty much the hours are pretty much pretty open. Whereas an appointed position, that would be required to regular workday.
And this is not something that you could have done in an off year. Like I said, I am a little concerned that in November I go and vote for highway superintendent, and then in January you could possibly override who I voted for in November. So I just, that bothers me, is that there, you know, if you had done it on an off year and you knew ahead of time that whether the person retired or, you know, that person would know as well. So it's kind of unfair to whoever's running for the position. And it's kind of unfair to the people in the sense that you vote for somebody and they may or may not be.
Right, and I hear you on that. I agree with that. The difference is no matter when you would abolish it, you'd still be nullifying what somebody may have voted to elect in terms of a person. But the other thing that's important to know is on that same ballot is for the public to decide whether or not to make this an elected position or not. So in that very same ballot, as you vote for a potential highway superintendent, you'll also be voting to either keep or abolish the position as an elected position. So you'll have some say at least in that part.
Yeah, but it would have been much better if it was done on an off year so that.
Right. The
yeah.
timing would be a little bit better, but at the end of the day, you're still nullifying, you know, potentially the public is nullifying what somebody may have elected, even if it was a previous year.
Okay, thanks.
But we had no control over when the superintendent was retiring either. We had to act upon that.
Just, I know you asked the question about some advantages. I mean, and I'm only speaking for myself, but to me right now, the only qualification and requirement of the elected highway superintendent is that the person live in town. There's no other qualification or requirement that that person possess. Whereas to me, someone who's appointed, we can set parameters and qualifications and therefore increase the accountability. And as everyone knows, highway and roads and all that stuff is very important. Infrastructure is very important. So we do want the very best person for the job in managing that department.
And one other question, do we know how many communities in Westchester have moved this from an elected position to an appointed position?
Yeah, I don't know if we have the exact number, but we know that there's about 4 or 5 very close communities that have done that.
And we've spoken to them and it's worked out well for them in doing that?
Yeah, they've actually recommended it. I spoke directly with Newcastle and they highly recommended it. And again, though, I mean, I you know, I don't want to make it sound like there's no drawbacks or anything. I'm really curious to hear what people have to say and their opinion about it.
Yeah, I see the one drawback is that as an elected position, if the people are not happy with what the superintendent of highways is doing, come 2 years, you're able to
Take it out on him now.
The town board.
I hear you, I'm just kidding.
Town board will also have to have a say in how productive the individual is or unproductive. So
Yeah,
will
we have the
control
oversight.
over that.
Okay, and in the law, is there any qualifications written into the law? I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to really look at it except for when it takes effect. Have you written any qualifications in?
We do. We have New York State resident within the bordering counties of Westchester, Rockland, where else? Putnam, Paris.
Yes, yep. I believe there are, if it passes, when you go look for a highway superintendent, you can have certain qualifications you want. It degrees, could be history of work, employment, et cetera, that you think would be, someone that could fit the position as opposed to anyone running for highway superintendent. So there will be qualifications that can ultimately pass this.
Obviously, you want somebody that has a background and the things that we need assistance on.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anyone else like to address this issue? Being there no further speakers, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Smoley, second by Mr. Saliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 3/1919, public hearing, considering a local law subject to mandatory referendum, amending town code, making the office of highway superintendent an appointed office as opposed to elected position. Need a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Smoley,
Second?
second by Ms. Haggis. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Third item on public hearings, I'll ask the town clerk to read that notice.
Notice of public hearing by the town board of the town of Mount Pleasant to consider amending zone code section 218, attachment 1, schedule of regulations, residence district for R20 districts permitting solar panels by special use and adding section 218-63.4. Please take notice that the town board of the town of Mount Pleasant shall conduct a public hearing at the town hall on the 28th day of May 2019 at 8:00 p.m. to discuss a proposed local law number 8, 2019, which will amend zoning code section 218, attachment 1, schedule of regulations, residence districts, and add town code chapter 218-63.4, arrays of ground-mounted solar panels for the generation of electricity. Please take further notice. The proposed local law number 8, 2019 is available for review in the town clerk's office. Please take further notice that at the public hearing upon said proposed local law number 8, 2019, an opportunity to be heard in regards thereto will then and there be given to those favoring passage of such proposed local law and also those opposed thereto. Susan Marmol, Town Clerk.
Thank you. Public hearing is now open. I believe you have some comments you'd like to offer us.
Well, I'll be really quick. It's mostly going to be Steve. Honorable Supervisor, honorable members of the town board, I'm John Kirkpatrick. I'm the attorney representing ConEd Solutions. Let me just give a brief explanation of the application. It's a zoning text amendment, which opens the possibility then that several properties could be returned to the tax rolls that are now not paying taxes, but now would be paying taxes. It would also mean those properties could be used to provide lower cost electricity to parishes in the area and to qualifying town residents, such as perhaps senior citizens. All of this by allowing electricity producing solar arrays. Now, what this means, I'm going to ask Steve Ondition from ConEd Solutions to take you through an explanation, you and the folks at home, of what we mean by electricity producing solar arrays.
Thank you, members of the board. It's a pleasure to be here and to share a little bit about the project that's contemplated at Gate of Heaven Cemetery, just down the road on Stevens Ave. The project in question is what we call a ground-mounted solar farm. What that means is that there will be a number of solar modules permanently attached to the ground for a period of about 25 years under a lease arrangement with the trustees of St. Patrick's, who operate Gate of Heaven Cemetery. The location that was selected was very specific because it is not going to be used over the coming 25 years. It is not part of the development plan of the cemetery. However, it is perfect for the generation of solar energy relative to the fact that it is well positioned in relation to the sun, relative to the fact that grid stability is an important concern in this area. So it is equally beneficial as well from the standpoint of the environment It offsets about 8 million pounds of carbon dioxide per year, and that's a fairly significant thing. You could put that into perspective also of about 100 rail cars of coal. There's a number of ways that you could quote that, but in any event, it is clean, green, renewable energy, and there are relatively few places in Westchester County where a system of that size is actually viable, and this is one. So we're excited to be bringing it forward. A project of this nature takes about 4 months to construct. Once it is constructed, it is a silent operation. For the most part, there are very few maintenance vehicles, even that need to come within the area, because there are no moving parts, generally speaking, for these systems, or certainly very few. The long-term plan for this facility is that it will be owned, operated, and maintained by Con Edison Solutions, and we're a company that's just down the road. We've been in Mount Pleasant for about 18 years, and we have an extensive history of operating these facilities. We're the second largest owner-operator in the country of solar projects. What else can I say? Additionally, some of the benefits that Mr. Kirkpatrick was sharing with you are very real. Among them, the fact that the system generates credits, solar community credits, that can be used to offset electricity bills. That benefit accrues to local parishes, to town participants. Unfortunately, not to everyone, but certainly we intend to work with the town board to identify those most in need and to co-market something of that nature, so that everyone who can make use of it can really benefit, and that we can keep it local and within the community. That's important to us as well. That would be, I think, a pretty high-level summary. Any questions, of course, I'd be happy to answer, but that is about the summation.
Steve, could you discuss the fact that there will be trees all around it, so it won't be, tell about
sure.
the visibility of the...
Quite right. Thank you, Ms. Hagedis. So we had a fairly lengthy discussion with both the town board and with the trustees of St. Patrick's as to visual impact, and that was one of the prime motivators for our selecting this site. We said that its location relative to the existing tree cover there provides a benefit. It also allows us to build a berm and to install trees, shrubbery, and other natural elements to help it blend into the landscape and make it a little bit more difficult to be seen. So we very much like it for that reason. Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
Stephen, also the property tax generation, which there is not at this point.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Forgenzi. So the other benefit to this project is that a tax agreement will be negotiated with the town of Mount Pleasant, through which they will derive annual revenue, fixed revenue, and that is on a parcel that is currently tax exempt, as the cemetery is a not-for-profit entity. So this is a great example where you can have a commercial scale project, one that is not going to tax, impact the roadways, is not going to bring in, it's not going to stress schools or other, town utilities, but is going to be generating consistent revenue on an annual basis for that 25-year term.
At this time, anyone from the board or public have any questions?
I just wanted to ask if you can speak to the timeline. Here it is, May, and what is your proposal?
So the non-ministerial approvals process, we would expect to take a number of months, to the extent that you all are comfortable there, of course, and that we can design a project that accommodates all. Once we have those approvals in place, we are in a position to move very quickly and begin site preparation within a couple of weeks. That work at a site like Gate of Heaven Cemetery would take about 3 to 4 weeks, roughly speaking. And then you have the installation of the various equipment and components. That would take about 2 months. Some of this is weather dependent, a little bit outside our control, but speaking on, in averages, it's about 2 to 3 months for that sort of construction. That includes all of the associated access roads and other improvements, the berm, for instance, and various plantings and screenings. Thereafter, there's about a month-long inspection period where all, a variety of interested parties will have an opportunity to move through the site, inspect it as necessary, and then finally to approve it for commercial operation. So a long-term timeline, I think a conservative outlook would be operating by the end of the year. Anything prior to that is certainly a win for all.
Very good, thank you.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Reza, just a quick outline of what you'll consider tonight is the text amendment change, potentially. There is a secret environmental review that still is required. They will need to, at the same time that you're considering this law, the applicant will be before the planning board that will consider environmental impacts in greater detail. So that will be berm, et cetera, things like that, impacts on stormwater, et cetera. So this will stay here at this board level past tonight.
Do we keep this public hearing open until
Yes.
the secret process
Yes,
is
you'll have
complete?
to, yes, yes. So it'll be kept open tonight and adjourned until the secret process is complete. Once that occurs, you then can potentially consider this law. And the main part of the environmental review, the initial environmental review, will be done by the planning board. Then you'll consider their findings and also make findings. So that should take a couple months. So they'll go in parallel to the planning board with you. And they should be there probably the next meeting, I would assume. So that's sort of you're not approving the plan tonight or even ever. It's really going to go to the planning board. But you'll consider the text amendment to the code to permit this in a location like this. This is not, people will not be able to put this in their backyards, solar facilities.
Right.
Minimum of 10 acres, there's certain height requirements, so it's a very limited locations that this can potentially be in. So we're not gonna have solar facilities in backyards now. You could on your roofs in your house and things like that, but just to clarify for the record.
So the zoning text amendment will not take place until after the secret process?
That's correct. Sorry, that was a long answer to yes.
So basically, tonight, we just taken people's comments, and then we'll move on. We'll keep this public hearing open until that process.
Correct.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions? Good evening, Monsignor.
Good evening.
Hey, Mr. Supervisor, Town Board, Monsignor Barry, pastor at Holy Rosary Parish, pretty much almost next door neighbor to the cemetery. Just a casual driving through the cemetery, we see it's a beautiful operation, well run. So I'm sure that the trustees of St. Patrick's Cathedral runs the cemetery will make sure that that whole area stays as beautiful as it is. And as we all know, the people who work at that cemetery are the last people to let you down.
Oh, wait a minute.
I get it, Father.
Yeah, it's a grave situation. And of course, Con Head has also had a good track record in dealing with not-for-profits. I've dealt with them before in the past in New York City, and they're great partners with not-for-profits in helping to reduce electrical costs. And of course, the credits ring to my ears, and they mentioned it'll be a help to our parish and other places around. So I'd just like to speak to affirm my position that this is a good idea for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions? I guess we'll just take a motion to keep this public hearing open.
I'd like to make a motion to keep the public hearing open, please.
Motion by Mr. Saliano,
Second.
second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming out again.
Hope to be back soon.
We're going to move on to the supervisor's report. First item, a very challenging idea here, block party permits. We have 2 block party permit requests. Joseph Celentano, Sherman Avenue between Sheridan Place and Wyoming Place, Saturday, June 1st, between 2 and 8 p.m. with no rain date. The second one is Lisa Baviello, Palmo Lane, street closure, Saturday, June 29th, 4 p.m. to midnight, rain date, June 30th, same time. And also Janet Del Greco, Bruce Lane, beginning at 6 Bruce Lane, Saturday, July 20th, 3 p.m. to 10 p.m., rain date, July 21st, same time.
Move for approval.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo,
Second?
second by Ms. Hagadis. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is purchase order number 830-1918. This is for Mechanical Water District. This is for equipment that's required. The discharge from the filtration process has a residual chlorine product in it. We're required now to treat that before it enters into the ground. So this equipment is required to treat that water prior to it entering the natural flow of the groundwater. The total cost is $10,401. The company, the vendor is Hatch Company, and I would ask the board for approval on this equipment.
I'd like to make a motion for approval, please.
Motion by Mr. Saliano,
Second.
second by Ms. Smalley. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is purchase order 162-1913. This is a electronic lock for police department. We made some changes downstairs with some doors and offices. They will require the card access like we have in all our exterior doors now, and most of our departments in this area all have card access. So this will add another access to one new door downstairs in the police department. Total cost is $2,500, and the vendor is Alarm Specialist.
Move for approval.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo,
Second?
second by Ms. Hagadis. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, release of a performance bond, Virginia Hillside LLC. If you've been by Virginia Road, I think it was over in it's Valhalla, I think it's considered. It's
Yes.
on the outskirts of Valhalla. They put a convenience store and a gas station in.
Yes.
Supposedly did a really nice job over there.
Mm-hmm.
They've had a performance bond there, but the work has been completed to the satisfaction of David Smith, our town engineer. Total amount of the bond is $43,280. This will release the performance bond.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Smalley,
Second.
second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is disposal of a Pitney Bowes Model D1350. It's an outdated Pitney Bowes machine. Inventory number 2088. The new machine was approved at the May 14th, 2019 Town Board meeting. The manufacturer will pick up and dispose of the old unit.
Move for approval.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo,
Second.
second by Mr. Saliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We even need a resolution to throw things away.
Yeah, right. It could be an antique, you know?
Yeah. The next one is authorization to purchase a road paver for highway department use for water main break and roadway repairs. We've been looking around, we've been borrowing other pavers from other communities. Unfortunately, when you use somebody else's equipment and it breaks down, you're responsible for fixing it. We found one that was very well taken care of, and our fleet manager, David Barker, looked at it and said that it's a good investment. I believe the cost was $25,000. And, a new one would cost about $200,000. It's for limited use. We're not in the blacktop business, but it'll help our highway department do the small repairs that we need and make them a little more efficient and smoother. So this resolution will let us move forward on purchasing that paver.
I'd move for approval, just to say that this $25,000 expenditure will pay for itself very quickly in that we oftentimes have to rent it for $5,000 just for a week. So this is a very smart purchase, and I thank Dave Parker and Rich Banquet from the Highway Department for seeing us through.
I'd like to also add that this is a cooperation between the Water Department and the Highway Department, and it just illustrates how in Town Hall and with the town employees, we're trying to work together, department to, quote, get the job done for the residents. So I really appreciate Water and Highway working together. So I'll go ahead and second that. Thank you.
Motion by Mr. DePaul, second by Ms. Smalley. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is authorization to hire Elizabeth Lyden as office assistant for the building department, effective June 17th. Salary as per CSEA contract. Annual starting salary as per contract is $52,788.
I'd like to make a motion for approval, please.
Motion by Mr. Saliano,
Second.
second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is appoint board members of the Friends of Mount Pleasant Parks Foundation. Mr. DiPaolo has been working on this with, I think Lori's been working on it, and Kelly Rizzi, trying to find an avenue to bring in donations to help in different aspects of the recreation department that are not generally funded through the budget. So I commend them all for all their work and finally working this out through the County of Westchester's. Nick, you could probably explain this a little bit better on how we're working with the county on this.
Sure. It's so it's really the development of a nonprofit foundation under the umbrella of the Westchester Parks Foundation, which operates in a similar fashion. They seek donations. They help raise money for the park system in Westchester, and they also help raise awareness about the parks in Westchester. So our purpose and mission would be the same here for the town of Mount Pleasant, working under the umbrella of the county. Corporations oftentimes are looking to donate money to parks and recreation programs. Sometimes they don't love to do it directly to a town and they prefer to work with a foundation. So that's the avenue that we're trying to create. That's part of our mission. The other part is that we have an abundance of park space here in Mount Pleasant, beautiful park space that is probably underutilized. My guess is because most residents are not as aware of it as some. So the other mission of ours will be to raise awareness and basically promote our parks.
Thank you. The committee chairperson, most deservedly, is Nicholas DiPaolo, a 4-year term. Ted Lay, a 2-year term. Brian McClintock, 2-year term. Michael C. Williams, 4-year term. Amy Nichols, 4-year term. Kelly Rizzi, be an ad hoc member. This resolution will approve the establishment of this board.
I'd like to go ahead and motion for this. It will be in concert, and I hope working together with the Recreation Department's Recreation Commission, who meet monthly, and I am sure that we will all agree that having another funding source to do the major projects in town that we would like to do will be very advantageous for all of us. So I say go ahead. I'd like to make a motion to move forward. Thank you.
Motion by Ms. Smalley,
I'll second that.
second by Ms. Hagedis. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I respectfully abstain.
Thank you. Next item is a memo from Jim Timmings, our assessor. We have 2 tax bills which need to be canceled. A road taking by the state of New York involving 2 parcels were not recorded correctly in the 2018 assessment roll. As a result, town and county tax bills were prepared and sent. State-owned land is automatically exempt. The county tax commissioner has agreed that these bills should be canceled based on the unlawful entry. Please request a town board resolution canceling this item. I just want to see if we have some numbers here.
I don't see him.
See, one of them was total amount of $312.96. Actually, both of them are for two different parcels.
Mhm.
So this will eliminate those two tax bills and they will no longer be on our tax roll.
They're both on Sawmill River Road, is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you. So moved.
Motion by Ms. Smalley,
Second.
second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to the agenda, business from the floor. Anybody wish to address the board is welcome to do so at this time.
Ken Noonan, Valhalla. You have a meeting of the Industrial Development Agency coming up on Thursday at 4 o'clock. And I have a question regarding the agenda. Item 3 is to consider adopting an initial project resolution for the North 80 LLC project located at Hospital Road, et cetera, et cetera. Could you please tell me what an initial project resolution is?
It's really not relative to this board, but it's every project requires it. If they're seeking IDA benefits, an application has been submitted. And in order to obtain benefits, there needs to be an initial resolution moving the project or the application forward. That'll trigger a public hearing, which will be required under the law, and then ultimately a final approval by the IDA, not this board.
So you're saying that this North 80 LLC has applied for financial assistance of some kind?
Correct.
Can you elaborate on that?
Sales tax benefits and mortgage reporting tax benefits. But it's early on in the process. The application was submitted. The application is on the planning board now, so this is going to be some time before it's ever really considered fully.
And now, why would you even entertain an application like that?
This is something that you should bring up to the IDA when we have the IDA meeting. You're welcome to join us. This is not a town board.
Well, you know that I do join you at the IDA meetings, but you also know just as well as I do that we're not allowed to speak at the IDA meetings. There's no opportunity for the public to speak at the IDA.
It's a public hearing, you will.
Pardon me?
Every project has a public hearing. Every single project has a public hearing.
Well, I know, but I couldn't bring up this question. There was no, you have no public hearing scheduled for 30.
It will be after the board, IDA board considers the initial resolution, there's a public hearing under the law. And at that point, that's when the public comments on IDA applications. You could say, I think it's a bad idea, I think it's a good idea. Or you could say whatever you would like to say that would be addressed by the board.
But that's after you've already adopted the initial project resolution.
You can't move forward on the initial project resolution. The benefits aren't granted at that point. They're granted after the public hearing and a subsequent resolution. Part of the process, though.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else wish to address the board? We'll move on to our town clerk's report.
Town clerk's agenda, town board meeting, May 28th, 2019. Public hearings, establish Town of Mount Pleasant as a Medal of Honor town. Local law number 7, 2019, amend town code making highway superintendent an appointed office. Local law number 8, 2019, amend zoning text in town code to permit solar facilities in R20 district. Received Mount Pleasant Public Library Board minutes for April 18th, 2019, and one notice of claim, Samuel and Joan Carroll versus Town of Mount Pleasant.
Item B would be referred to our town attorney. Moving on to council reports, Councilman DiPaolo.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Good evening to the public. On behalf of the Comptroller's Office, I have this week's Comptroller's memo dated May 28th, 2019. Out of the Justice Court Fund, seeking authorization to disperse funds to Matthew Bender and Co. for renewal for the courts. It's $1,853.28. Out of the Building Town Hall Fund, Nicholson Carpentry for new walls and doors in the hallway. In the Police Department, $2,034. Same fund, RJG Electrical Contracting for a few sub panels and the installation of those. And that was for $2,500, $1,600, and $1,300 for a total out of the Building Town Hall budget of $7,434. Prepaid expenses, we have Syntec Systems, maintenance fuel, and that is $396. Out of Central Garage, we have Syntec Systems, again, maintenance fuel, again, $396. Bob's R&H, Army and Navy, we have some, looks like polo shirts for the Highway Department, $170.05 for a total out of Central Garage for $566.05. Out of Public Safety, we have Automotive Upholstery for some upholstery work, $650. The Pool Fund, we have Metro Sport, and this is for lifeguard uniforms, $1,676.35.
Mr. Noonan had more time.
Sorry for taking that. Out of General Repairs, Syntec Systems, again, maintenance fuel, $1,254. Bob's R&H, Army and Navy, again, for some shirts for the Highway Department, $2,054.25. Gorman Brothers for crack sealing material, $20,261.78. Peckham Industries for 16.9 tons of blacktop, and also that was for $1,492.38. And then another 40.89 tons of blacktop for $3,653.39. 3D Industrial, we have a Vactor rental for $9,552. And also out of General Repairs, we have sweeper rental for $6,592. And we have sweeper, and that was for the time period of April 22 through 25. Then again on the 29th of April through the 30th, and then again the 1st through the 3rd of May, sweeper rental for $8,240. And Vactor rental again for $6,368. Total out of the General Repairs Fund, $59,000, $467.80. Out of the Capital Highway Machinery and Equipment, Genesee Valley Ford, the purchase of a 2019 Dodge Durango, $80,273. A 2019 F-350 service truck for $73,623.75. The total there, $153,896.75. Out of the Highway Garage roof repair, Sullivan Management to relocate some of the network systems, $5,913.32. Out of the Kensico Capital Projects Fund, Amazon Capital for some batteries, $57.29. Air hose connectors and fittings, $196.73. Air inflator, $71.50. Bags, camera, cables, $784.80. Additional batteries, $614.10. Battery, saw pipe blade, and assuming that's fire extinguisher, $1,407.33. Then some fencing, some wrenches for $820.70. Gloves, safety glasses for $222.22. Another pipe saw blade for $159.95. Plastic sheeting for $101.90. And also a power cutter saw for $1,113.59. Propane tanks and saw blades for $780.55. Pump hose and skimmer for $118.48. A ratchet wrench for $153.58. And a trench pump and cooler jugs for $948.97. From Berger Hardware, electrical supplies, $39.50. Capital Supply Construction Products, Class 54 ductile iron pipe for $31,987.18.
David A. Smith, tolls, material, tarps that were purchased, $628.20. FW Web Company, this is an Exact Air Saw for $6,441. Schmidt's Wholesale for valves, restraint kits, and curb stop for $33,000, $33,406.38. Verizon Wireless for some Verizon cameras, $699.98, and the total out of the Kensico Capital Projects line is $80,753.93. Excuse me.
That's all that old Kensico water main project.
Yep. Out of the Joint Water District Fund, we have Ross Valve, and that was for some pressure valves, $3,222.56. The Canico Water District Fund, we have Coin Chemical for some chemical supplies, $2,317. And that is a grand total for this week's comptroller's memo of $319,401.04, respectfully submitted by Mr. Brian Keneally, our comptroller. I would move for approval to pay our bills.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo,
Second.
second by Ms. Smalley. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The second item on the agenda is seeking authorization to renew our CPI Human Resources contract for the Affordable Care Act. This contract will cover the 2019 calendar year for payroll and filings and will be completed through the first quarter of 2020. There is no change in the cost from last year, and the annual fee is $10,000. I would move for approval.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo,
Second.
I should also mention this is required by law.
Yes, it is.
second by Ms. Haggis. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Saliano.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My report is from the Police Department. We have several items for you this evening. The first item is a purchase order for automated external defibrillator. This is a New York State contract pricing, and the vendor is Common Sense EMS Supply. They're from Old Saddlebrook, Connecticut. And this is for 3 PowerHeart G5 fully automated dual language AEDs, and their cost per defibrillator is $1,491. And the total cost, ladies and gentlemen, is $4,473. I move for approval, please.
Motion by Mr. Saliano,
Second.
second by Ms. Smalley. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Does it say what languages they are in?
Yeah, I was wondering.
It says dual language.
Probably Spanish and English.
Probably, yeah. That makes sense. I agree with that. Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. The second order is a purchase order. The second item is a purchase order. It's for traffic and safety vehicle. The vendor is Van Wartel Ford Incorporated. And this is for a 2019 F-350 SD regular cab white with a snow plow. And the total cost was $38,623.93. I respectfully ask the board for a motion of approval, please.
Motion by Mr. Saliano,
Second.
second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The third item, Mr. Supervisor, again, a purchase order for a maintenance contract for a Ritchie machine. The vendor is Adema Identity and Security USA LLC. And this is a yearly maintenance contract for the Ritchie machine, which is a fingerprint machine that the police department needs. The total cost was $4,234. I move for approval, please.
Motion by Mr. Saliano,
Second.
second by Ms. Smalley. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The fourth item is a purchase order for town summons. The vendor is Regal Forms. This is for 2,000 parking tickets. Hopefully you don't get one of them. And the total price, ladies and gentlemen, is $1,600. I respectfully ask the board for a motion of approval, please, for this purchase order.
Motion by Mr. Saliano,
Second.
second by Ms. Haggis. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. And the fifth item, Mr. Supervisor, is removal of obsolete traffic signal interconnect cable. The vendor is Skyline Electric Corporation, and this is removal of not in service of traffic signal interconnect cable, and the total cost is $1,600. I move for approval, please.
Motion by Mr. Saliano,
Second.
second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And the last item is authorization for police officer continuing education. I move to table this matter for further discussion with the board members and the supervisor.
Motion by Mr. Saliano to table.
Second.
Second by Ms. Smoley. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I thank you. Have a great evening, and congratulations to the officers that got promoted and our new officers. Have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Smoley.
Good evening. I have 3 items on the agenda this evening from the Superintendent of Parks and Recreation. The first is approval for CPR, lifeguard training, and lifeguard recertification instructor rates, which are effective as May 29th, 2019. For CPR, the instructor rate is $300. For lifeguard training course, the instructor rate is $1,000. For lifeguard recertification course, it's $550. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Smoley,
Second.
second by Mr. Saliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The next item is memo number 38, authorization to hire Adriana Tedeschi as a recreation assistant effective May 29th, 2019, at the rate of $12 an hour. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Smoley,
Second.
second by Ms. Haggis. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And the last item this evening is memo number 39, requesting to hire the following seasonal lifeguards effective May 25th, 2019. Paige Box, lifeguard at $9.25 an hour, and Joseph Nolan, lifeguard at $8.75 an hour. This staff was interviewed and hired May 15th. They will be lifeguards at the pool for the pool season, May 25th through September 2nd. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Smoley,
Second.
second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Public service announcements this evening are that there are still openings for a Broadway show trip this weekend, and that is on Sunday. And it is to the show Ain't Too Proud. Anyone interested, please see the recreation staff office downstairs. May 31st is the last day to purchase your pool passes at the discounted rate. I urge everyone to go and buy them. It's a beautiful facility. And the last item is coming again this summer is the Summer Concert Series. It will begin on June 27th at 7 p.m. in Carroll Park. Thank you very much.
Can I just add on to that? For anyone out there, we have 7 summer concerts this year, and we are looking for local high school students, if they wish to open up at those concerts with a song or two, to just contact myself or Ms. Rizzi in the Recreation Department. We'd be happy to accommodate and give that venue and that opportunity for some local high school students that would be interested.
Thank you. Councilwoman Haggis, unfortunately, you have
No,
nothing.
I prepared a song, but I don't think you want to hear it.
Do you want to open for one of the concerts?
Yeah, I'll open for one of the concerts. But anyway, no, I do, Mr. Supervisor, I have nothing to report tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. And I believe we have nothing for our town attorney this evening.
No report either, Mr. Supervisor.
Thank you. Moving on then, our next work session will be Tuesday, June 4th at 7 p.m. And our business session will be Tuesday, June 11th at 8 p.m. If there be no further business, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Saliano,
Second.
second by Ms. Smoley. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.